Greetings folks, it's John the Crazy Englishman here. Blessings to you and your loved ones. I'm going to show you a little bit of the City of London, which, like a lot of the City of London, has got a rich history. We're going to take you down a little street, and as the title of this video suggests, that anti-Semitism is not a new thing. And we're going to go down a short street, and the name is very suggestive, gives you a clue. There you go, Old Jewry. Old Jewry. Well, there's not much to see of its history going back to the time that I want to talk about. We've got a plaque here that was a church that was destroyed here by the Great Fire of London in 1666, St Mary Cole Church, which was probably here standing there for about 200 years before that. But that's not the point of why we're coming down here. Like you can see, it's all modern buildings, although some of them go back to the 1930s Art Deco buildings. But it's the Old Jewry. It's a section, it was an area where, not long after William the Conqueror conquered England, the Jewish people, a lot of the Jewish people came over and settled in this area of London. I mean, it was a bit, according to descriptions, it was a bit like a ghetto at first. And the Jewish people were, as always, businessmen, very industrious, and they became basically the City of London's, they lent money basically, and they used to lend money to, even to royalty, to knights, and to various establishments in the City of London. Now here's a plaque, it's a great synagogue. It stood near this site until 1272. So from about the sort of 1100s until round about that time of 1272, the Jews thrived in the money lending business. However, resentment soon grew against the Jews. They begrudged that they was getting into debt that they freely went into. It was purely business transactions, and royalty was getting into debt. And the thing was being spread, which was taken up by many of the church at the time, which obviously is the Catholic Church. But it wasn't an official teaching of the Catholic Church, just a certain groups of Catholics, and it was the blood libel, where there was this false rumour that Jewish people were kidnapping children and offering them as sacrifices, etc. And so resentment came against the Jews, and the king at the time was heavily in debt, and so this resentment grew. I suppose nothing really changes really. And the Crusaders, I know it was further, shall we say, further coals upon the fire. The Crusaders would go into the Holy Land, and some of the Jewish sites, when they got there was these rumours, well, not so much rumours, but this crazy, they were blaming the Jews for the crucifixion of Christ. They were blaming the Jewish people. And so this resentment grew and grew until eventually the Jews in Old Jewry and in England were expelled in around about the late 1260s, or 1272. The synagogue was demolished. Yeah, and they was expelled. And the Jews never came back until they was invited by William Cromwell in the 1500s. So this short walk through this little section of just trying to picture what it might have been like. Like I say, it was a ghetto. And the same type of anti-Semitism is still here, isn't it? And seems to be rising its ugly head yet again. So some things don't change. And the Jewish people seem to go through this period of time where the old world blames them for everything and turns against them. Sounds familiar? Anyway, that's just a very brief history. There's a lot more, and look it up. Old Jewry, City of London. Very interesting history. Like I say, unfortunately, apart from a plaque, there's nothing really here that's left of when the Jewish people were here. This is John the Crazy Englishman. Blessings to you and your loved ones. And remember, pray without ceasing. And to quote an old section of scripture in the Jewish Bible, in the Old Testament, may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and bring you peace. Take care.